This is for you if you are an empath, you're a highly sensitive person, and you've gone through your journey in this life and you're trying to figure out where is your spot, under the sun, so to speak. Here are a few things, these are very general things you can do right off the bat. And what this will help you, especially as someone who can read between the lines, who understands somebody's energy better than even they can. You can call an emotion before the expression of the emotion even takes place. And it's a very, very difficult way to live because you have the consciousness, right? You have the inner work and the natural intuition to be able to understand someone's point of view and offer them compassion. Now, here's where you have to be careful, especially in 2026. We're not doing this. We're absolutely not doing this. Empaths, here's where your focus is going to be. Your focus is going to be on creation over consumption. You create more than you consume. There's a TikTok video of this lady, I think it was last year, and she basically said that every time you turn on the app, you're going to post. My gosh, like imagine, and there was so, you can go look this up, and there were so many creators who were like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine how consistently I was opening this app. Now, it's such a great reframe. I'll tell you a little bit. For me right now, I find YouTube very scary personally. I would prefer, a TikTok because I'm probably used to the medium, but YouTube just feels scary. And so I said to myself, it's okay. I'm not a believer of or in perfections. I want to start creating. I want to start sharing what I know to be true from my experience. And maybe if it helps somebody else, why not? There's room to have conversations in depth with people around the world, and we're not playing at a superficial level. So if you find yourself in this room at any given point or on this channel at any given point, then I would say, welcome. I hope, there is love here for you and you find that you are heard and you understand that we're somewhat in this journey together, even if we are on our own individual boats. So going back to empaths and what we're not going to do in 2026, and I'm using empaths as more of an anchor so that you can identify yourself with it. And also, like, if you're, just again, a highly sensitive person, you're creating, you're trying to do something different, or, in the very least, you're trying to change your life circumstances because you were not born into, say, wealth or privilege or even access, right? This is for you. So the first thing is, we're not consuming more than we create. The second thing what we want to like sort of start focusing on this year is going to be around the central idea that you can slow down, but you slow down so that you can eventually speed up. And I love this because I was taught this concept years ago, and my journey has been in corporate and also in consulting by way of entrepreneurship. And I heard someone say this for the first time in the first 2 or 3 years of me starting my own thing. And he said this and he's like, you know what? You slow down to speed up. And it was so counterintuitive because I was so motivated, so driven because it's the first few years of your business. So you're just operating very differently at that time. Obviously, you have the energy to give. So that type of knowledge, that type of wisdom can fall flat because what we think often is that we keep moving, we keep chugging along, and we move really quickly, so our results will come to us very quickly. But then on the flip side of that argument, especially if you're slightly spiritual or you understand our sort of meta concepts and you want to do things in a more intentional sort of way, you are going to burn out. This is not the modality that will work for you. So you have to find a way to figure out, how do I do life, but also how do I do my creativity, my voice, my way of expression without, you know, turning it into a performance. That's the real question, because that new currency now is going to be the quiet ones with big hearts. That is the space. So if you're quiet and you are introspective, you're a deep thinker and often an overthinker because you're trying to look at every scenario and answer it for yourself. So I hope you find love in the space and understanding in the space, because you'll meet more people like you as we progress in this journey. collectively. Okay, so consume less than you create. Second is slow down to speed up. I'm just giving you these anchors so that you remember them, and you can always catch yourself as like, wait, I need to slow down so that I can speed up. And when I speed up, it's going to be intentional. The other thing we will do this year is, we'll honor obviously our sensitivities, we'll honor our bodies, but we'll also make sure that while we're in this process, we honor the art of massive intentional action. Now, massive is not supposed to be volume. Massive is just you getting out of the way. It's not quantitative, it's actually qualitative. And it is in line with who you are. And you do things based off of what makes sense to you and what you want to put out into the world. All right? You learn something, share it with two people, that knowledge is going to stick. So, massive intentional action is all about going back to your own first principles. Why did I start? Why am I doing this? Why is it so painful? Those types of questions have to be addressed within. All right. So you'll hear a lot of people say, take action, like loads of action. Great. Sometimes volume can help. But for the person who is here in this space and in this community, we need to attach meaning to our work and our action, because eventually I think all of us want to sleep well at night knowing that we didn't pull a fast one on someone, right? Even if, our consciousness wasn't at the right place at that time. So we're very, very connected to our words, to our action, and to what we're putting into the world as a result of those actions. And last but not the least, I'll always remind everybody as much as I can is this art of this. It's so painful to do, but once you master it or you get very close to understanding that this is important, you're going to love it. It's going to free your mind, and free your mind, and the rest will follow. Okay. If you haven't heard that song, you're going to love it. It was so good. Such a good song. Anyway, and very like upbeat. Okay. So you detach, you intentionally detach again, because you understand that what is coming toward you is going to come toward you irrespective of how you approach something. It is going to come to you, rather, how messy it is as you're approaching it. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? But what you are trying to do is make sure that I am only to sort of say to yourself, I will only focus on the parts that I can control. And what are the parts that I can control? My attitude, my effort, my ability to have grace, my intentions, my drive, my motivation. Those are things you can control. And everything outside of that, outside your energy, outside of your pace and your intensity and all of that, it's none of your business. It's so annoying, but it isn't. And I always remind myself, I was like, hey, Neelam, this part is none of your business. Let's just do the part we're supposed to do. For example, for me, my part today is to show up and talk about the things that are on my mind and the things that I feel could help someone, depending on what aspect of your journey you're in. Maybe now, maybe in the future. Who knows, right? If one person feels heard by something they saw here, or or laugh, or find some peace within themselves when they come here, I think that's good enough. Something to be happy about. So with that art of detachment, I will say that it is very difficult to implement at times, but it is the thing that will give you so much breadth, and you will take that space that you get and put it into the creative aspects, into the aspects of things that you can control, and your focus will only be toward that. And everything else that comes toward you as a result of that effort you put is just it's just feedback, or it's just how it's supposed to be right now, and you don't attach too much meaning to it, so that you don't get into this start and stop and start and stop sort of pattern, because that's also very emotionally taxing to your nervous system. So the idea here is for us this year, especially for, like I said, for people who feel things deeply, for people who have to stay in their minds a lot because they may or may not have someone to speak to. The idea here for you, my dear sweetheart, is that consume, consume, but create more if possible. right? Detach from whatever it is that you're creating, the results of whatever it is that you've created. Make sure you understand that sometimes it's okay to slow down so that you can eventually speed up. And when you do these types of things, right, what's going to happen is that massive intentional action that you took is going to help you focus only on the things that make you better, your output better, not someone's reaction or feedback to it. You become better. And for that, it's totally worth taking the time to do things the way you want to do them. Add your flavor to it, add your life experience to it. Why not? Why not? And I think people forget how powerful and impactful they can be because they're looking at how everybody else is doing things. Do it your way. Do it in the way that gives you peace, that gives you joy. And like when you're done with it, you're just like, oh, that was fun. That's all you have to do. All right, my love. Darling, be good to yourself. This year, all of us who are deep, deep thinkers and people who are led with our hearts, we're going to do these things. And we're going to be there for each other. And we're going to have a blast because we deserve it.